Hi everybody, my name is Jo Loss and I'm Learning Technologies Manager at Essex ACL, and I'm going to be taking you through the Communicating with Staff and Learners Digital ACE programme that we offered. So the Digital ACE programme is here to support providers on the next stage of their technological journey, help them deliver their digital capability so they can enhance their offer to learners while still maintaining the learner-centred and high-quality approach to adult learning. So the purpose of this communication session is to discuss why appropriate communication with staff and learners is important, to identify the challenges with these and keeping up with the communication, and to identify and share some best practices in communicating with both staff and learners. So when communicating with staff and learners, there are some key things we need to think about. The W questions. What do we want to say? Who needs to know this? Or does it need to go to everybody? When does it need to be said? How urgent is this communication? Could it wait? Where is the best place to say it? So where does it need to be put so everyone can see it or those who need to see it? What type of communication works best? Email, text, messaging Teams or Google Classrooms or on your virtual learning platform? And how often should we send these communications? Is there a fine line between communicating too much and not enough with our learners and with our staff? So communicating with staff, there's some ideas of some good practice here which you may find useful to share. So there, you might think about sending a weekly roundup email. So rather than emailing every time something comes out, staff need to be aware of. If it isn't urgent, so think back to those W questions. How urgent does it need to be said? And send it as a weekly roundup email. So pull all the key points together. And also you can then remind people of the important things as well. You can also then just send individual emails if there are things that just are for one or two particular people. By doing that, teams have previously been, they know they're going to get this email on a Friday or a Monday, which will contain all the key points and tasks they need to perhaps look at and things to be aware of. We've recently developed a tutor and LSAT room. So it's on a Microsoft Teams, which is part of our learning platform. And you can see the different channels that are available there. So we can just have a conversation corner. So call that your virtual photocopier or your virtual coffee machine, where you'll stop and have a chat about anything in particular with somebody. The channel where all our events are, so we'll post about staff development, any staff training, external training that people might find useful, communities of practice events that are happening. Help me please. A place where people can just ask that question. I'm not sure how to, I don't know how to. And anybody and anyone can answer and will offer their help and support. Meet me here. That's where our weekly drop-ins happen. So once a week, a different day and time, there are drop-ins. Anyone can pop in and ask a question. I'll just pop in and have a cup of tea and have a chat. It's a place where people can always meet and there'll always be somebody there to talk to you. Then we've got an area for our Microsoft Office trainings. That's where we run all our training courses and try and keep all our documents for our best practice. In our videos and screen recordings channel, people will share video clips they've made, perhaps of things that they've shared with their learners to help them out, or a video that one tutor's asked that somebody else has done. And what worked well for me? A place for people to share their successes. Really important. Anyone can say, this was brilliant, this worked for my learners, and perhaps give others the confidence to try that out. It might be good to have a newsletter that's themed. So for example, we have a safeguarding newsletter. It could be that the newsletters go out and they have a theme each week, or they have particular topics. So people aren't inundated with information from different people all the time. Introduce regular short meetings, stand-ups, check-ins, whatever you want to call them. So just a quick 5–10 minutes, how are you? That's enough sometimes to communicate and find that things out. Have your Wellbeing Wednesday or your Thankful Thursday. This is something that our County Council introduced, Wellbeing. So there are events that happen. So you can join perhaps an exercise class or Thankful Thursday, just something to take time out and say thank you to somebody for something they've done for you. It's those little things, especially while we're working this way, that are really appreciated. I have a live event, opportunity to share with everybody in the service at set times, things that are going on that impact everybody, and updates, so everyone can receive the same information at the same time in the same way. And this can also be recorded, so if people can't attend because of work or other commitments, they're then able to catch up and listen. So again, nobody needs to miss out. When you're communicating with learners, some of the things to think about is how often should the communication be and who should it come from? Think about GDPR. Think about your personal details being shared with other learners when setting up meetings or using WhatsApp. Make sure everything you send is in a safe way that adheres to not only your policy, but maintaining the privacy and safety security settings of your systems, and also keeping the learners and yourself safe. When you communicate with a learner, what happens if they have a disability? Think about tools such as Immersive Reader that's available in Edge and Office, or screen reading, text-to-speak, speech-to-text tools. Do your learners know how to access those tools? Do your tutors know how to make the best of those tools? And thinking about your netiquette, your online etiquette. Do your learners know the best way and how they should be presenting themselves online, in the same way as they would have rules if they were coming into the classroom? Different ways to communicate. It doesn't matter which platform you're using for your teaching or how you're communicating. But think about the things that will make this the most accessible for your learners. Is it accessible on all devices? What would you do if a learner couldn't access this? So think about if they don't have access to their emails, can we post things out to them still? Are we sending packs in the post? What do our learners need to access this? And think about any videos you could have that would help your learners with knowing how to access this. There's a wealth on YouTube, but also quite simple to make your own that are suitable for your individual learners. A really important tool for communication, especially at the moment, is giving feedback. And there are some different ways you can give visual and verbal feedback when you can't give it and meet people face to face. There's something called Quicker, and there's a link. And there are two versions of Quicker. One is free and one is paid for. And you can access it. And if you pay for it as a service, it probably costs about £12 a month, maybe a bit more than that, but no more than £20. And you can give somebody a QR code or a web link. You can record some audio on your phone or video from your computer, take a photograph, and give your learners some feedback that way. If you have the paid for version, you can start a conversation so the learners can then comment back. This is a completely safe tool. It was created by a science teacher because giving verbal feedback is 11 times quicker than giving written feedback. And he felt his feedback was excellent verbally, but he really struggled when writing it and putting it in the books for his physics learners. And the great thing about it is completely safe in the cloud storage, and each individual web link is individual for that person you send it to. There are many different screen recording tools you can use. Loom is a free Chrome plugin which records your screen, or you could use something like Screencast-O-Matic, which is a free tool you can download. If you're using Office.com, Stream does the same thing, and you can have your learners work up on the screen, and you can record your voice giving feedback, but also it will record what your cursor's doing. If you're making corrections or moving it around, it will show that as well. And then you could use something like the online sticky boards, such as Padlet or Linoit. And learners could upload their work, and then you or others can comment on it, or you can rate them or star them as your favourites. So a really great way if learners made something creatively, they can upload an image of it, and you can give your comments and your feedback underneath it. So it's a lovely way for learners to keep hold of their feedback. Thank you for listening.